Yo, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Transition that thing or what?
Huh?
You haven't transitioned, you
I have a
or no?
transition.
You have. That's weird. On my screen, it's still that's crazy.
Hmm,
But I'm looking at the live and I can see that's not what's up. That's
hmm.
weird. All right, nah, we're good.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, no, I'm doing great, man. I'm enjoying myself. Enjoying watching the NBA playoffs somewhat. You
hey
know,
man,
there's some things I liked, there's some things I didn't like. I enjoyed the T Wolves winning. I didn't enjoy what was happening in that game,
nah, very much
but
so. I feel you.
it is what it is. I'm glad to see we're getting a scenario to where the two teams from the NBA Finals last year will not be there in the NBA Finals. They're not even in the conference finals. So, I mean, I like the appearance of parity. I'm just calling it the appearance of for now because, yeah, I can't. It ain't enough for me to say that it really is parity happening right now in the NBA. So,
Yeah,
I don't
putting
know
old,
how you feel about that, but yeah.
yeah, man, putting old Scotty Foster in between the rock and the hard place. He's going to have to actually referee.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. And then you have Tony Brothers. Like I said, I made a post. I said, the refs out here trying to get a triple double tonight. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They was they was working on something, man, cooking up, boy, trying to get a series MVP.
Hey man, the best thing though about the whole thing is we're gonna have some new champions, man. It looks like. Um, I don't know what happened. Maybe it looks like he froze for a second. I don't know, but either way, um, yeah. Either way, though, you got me, guys. I'm still here until he returns. So anyway, man, things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Eastern Conference playoffs coming up, um, or the Eastern Conference championship rather. But we will be talking about the Eastern Conference playoffs, and we will also be talking about the Western Conference things that we saw in this game. It's going to be interesting. Up, and I lost him again. And there he is. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, um, so look, man. As you guys can see, I raw dogged this live. I got it. I got it started right away. No music, none of that. Just here. So anyway, man, you want to just go ahead and start getting into this?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, um, let's get into it, man. We have the NBA Conference Finals are here. We have four teams that have advanced from round two of the NBA playoffs. We have the Pacers versus Celtics, and we got the T Wolves versus the Mavs coming up. Right now, you have a plethora of young stars, up and coming, trying to become essentially the face of the league. Let's be honest, man. This is the face of the league sweepstakes. You got Luca, you got Anthony Edwards, you got Jason Tatum, and then I mean I'm saying face of the league. Sorry, Tyrese Halliburton, you're not going to be face of the league, but he is a young star, up and coming, and some people like him. I particularly don't, but that's neither
Hey,
here
why
nor
you don't like Halliburton? I
there.
could I could see him not being your preferred, but not liking him is
I'm not getting into it. I don't have any problems with his game. I just don't like him. So that's why I'm not going to get into it. That's just yeah. His well, fine. You know what? Let me just talk briefly about it. I feel like he has um there's something in his personality that I don't like. He has a little bit of Clay Thompson in him. Everybody remembers Clay Thompson talking a lot at the press conferences during that 73 win season when they're in the playoff series against the Cavs. And then the second things turn, he started turning really sour. and it was like you were very, very talkative and very, you know, very braggadocious and talking down and talking reckless when you were up, and then as soon as things went the other way, you started complaining and saying that, I just don't like that, those types of personalities that do that. It's the same thing, the same issue that I had with Cam Newton when every time, he's the season where they went 15-1, and he did that anytime he won or anytime he got a touchdown. He was, very arrogant, celebrating in front of people's faces. I'm going to do the first down marker right over your face and your shoulder, and then when something goes wrong, then it's pouting, then it's leaving the press conference early. Just Tyrese Halliburton has that about him, and I don't personally like it, but it's nothing to really, I like his game. I like the way he plays. I like all that about Tyrese Halliburton, but I just feel like that's a character trait that I don't really fuck with, man.
Right. No, 100%, man. I feel you, but I honestly haven't paid attention to him enough to see what you're seeing. But I'm not going to doubt you for now. You know what I mean?
I'll let you just see it. Like, I don't want to sway nobody's feelings about him, but that's just me. That has nothing to do with his game.
Oh, you already know, baby. You can't sway me, boy.
Yeah, there you go. But when you see it, Mark, then you will understand. When you see it, you'll understand. I'll
be on the lookout. We'll see what happens. But anyway, man, I did though find it funny because I saw on the internet today things from the internet about they was like, Ja really just out there and let Ant become the face of the league. They was like, they tried to hand it to you. They tried to hand it to you, and you did some fuck shit. And I'm like, damn, that's true. They really did try to make, like, Ja was their guy.
Ja was damn near the face of the league before all that happened. Like,
yep.
They basically signed him down on the paper and say, look, man, once LeBron and Steph and once these guys are done, which it looks like they coming to them, look, we already just going to sign you up and say that you're the next up. Look, all you got to do is wait for them to, like, say somebody went behind closed doors and said, don't worry about it. The promotion's yours. You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like to me. They had already groomed him to be that. Mark, me and you've been in the military. We've seen it. Sometimes you just know, like, okay, they're grooming this dude to be next up, even if we disagree with it. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It doesn't matter what anybody does from this point forward. You think you're going to work hard to get yourself on that TDY? They already chose who's going. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. They want their friends and only their friends.
Yeah, it's already decided. When you're in that type of situation. It just felt like that to me with Ja Morant, but it made sense to me. I was like, he should be the face of the league if you're looking for that excitement, the high flying, the dunking. You're trying to transition away from just the 3-point shooting aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, he is must see TV. You know what I'm saying? To me, this is the closest that we've gotten to D Rose, to prime D Rose, is watching Ja Morant play. So, like, I get why he was put in that position, but I do feel like they said, look, man, they gave you the keys to the car.
you crashed it. You crashed it leaving the lot.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even get to the highway. You didn't even get to open that thing up on the road. Like, yeah. So that's it, man. But
anyway, let's get into it, man. Where do you want to start, man? I guess since we did the Ant thing, should we start with the recap of that Western Conference?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that series. Did you want to start it off? Because
okay. I mean, yeah, I'll start it off. Well, listen. All right, so Timberwolves started out very quickly in that last series. Went up 2, and then somehow was down 3-2. And in being down 3-2, people were writing their obituary. You had Draymond Green embarrassingly say, "This is over. It's a wrap. It doesn't matter. Blah 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 blah." He was just talking that, going crazy. And he was incorrect. And I do want to say kudos to you, Sean, because you said in game in Game 5, you said it doesn't matter. You you said it doesn't matter if they win.
Yeah, I said it doesn't matter.
You said it doesn't matter if Denver wins. Timberwolves are going to win the series.
Yes, and to be honest, Mark, what made me say that is the 2 games that they stole in the beginning was too much.
Right.
It was too much to me. The way that the T-Wolves played defense, it was too much, right? And then when I looked at it and said, Jamal Murray dealing with his injury, it is affecting him in this series because of the defense that they're playing. And if you look at all these games, he looked extremely frustrated. Jokic looked frustrated. The fact that Anthony Edwards was getting Cat to be able to say, look, you're the best defender we could put on Jokic. You're our best shot at this. And then Cat started cleaning up his act and not committing those fouls and all that. It just everything about the way that the momentum was working in the T-Wolves' favor up until that point felt like Denver was fighting the uphill battle. So I felt like, hey, okay, you guys go up 3-2. That does not matter. Okay? That does not matter. You guys are done. You guys have spent too much energy. You guys are too frustrated. And I felt like, to be honest with you, I haven't had any complaints about Mike Malone's coaching up until this series, where I just felt like he did not have any answer for what was happening to them in this series. So it was a lot of things that went into it. I wasn't just saying it just to say it, but to me, it just looked like a scenario to where the T-Wolves were just, whether they're the better team or not, I mean, I'll leave that up to y'all, but the T-Wolves were outplaying them, even in the games that I felt like they lost.
Yeah, and what I found interesting about Game 7, and what I liked about Game 7 was their game plan for Jokic was just keep him engaged. Just keep him engaged. Don't give him a moment's rest. They ran, no matter what in the offense, they kept running in his direction. And then they would pass out or do whatever afterwards.
Yeah.
They kept running in Jokic's direction. And you could see it.
He was tired.
You could see it early. You could see it in the early third that he was tired.
He was gassed.
He was running down the court, and Tamika was talking to me, and I was like, and she was like, what's going on? I was like, look at his arms. I was like, look at the way he's moving his arms. He's not moving his arms with any control. And I was like, that's because he is tired. I was like, his arms are basically, they're feeling like dead weights to him right now.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how it came off. That's exactly how they won the game, because they kept Jokic from having the strength to take those, to consistently hit those shots. Now, he found the shot later on, but
really, it was too late by then.
But it was far too late. He found it later on, but they was already in their momentum. What up,
Troy? Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It was what it was by that point.
Yeah,
for them.
Yeah, and just to add to what you're talking about, it's interesting because I felt like last year in the series against the Lakers last year, in the Western Conference Finals, I felt like there was a couple of games where the Lakers were like, you know what, let's make him work on defense. Mm-hmm. And that was, they had LeBron and AD going at him. And in those games, it was working. The sad part about it was, the part that sucked about it was, in those games where they made him work, those were 2 games where Jamal Murray just elevated to a whole nother level, to where even though they were able to fatigue Jokic and they were able to have that effect on him, those were like, Jamal Murray had like a 40-point game, and then one of the other ones was he scored like 27 in the first half. It's like, if that's gonna happen, it's just very unfortunate for those things to happen. But I felt like from there, the blueprint was out as far as Jokic he doesn't have the stamina to run up and down the court on both sides of the floor all game long. I felt like it was shown last year in the playoffs. I felt like a lot of teams kind of didn't really try to do anything about it. But it felt good to know that I'm not crazy, Mark, and watch the T-Wolves say, nah, man, you're gonna have to step on these cat threes. You're gonna have to defend us while we drive to the hoop. It doesn't matter if we dish it or not. We are going to make you work more than you're used to on defense, so that you cannot do what you want to do on offense. And what he missed, I think he was like 0 for 8 or 0 for 9 to start the game when it came to his 3-pointers. So like he hit like 3 of his last 4, but I want to say he started off like 0 for 9 or something like that for threes. Like, and to me, it was a direct correlation to the amount of energy they were making him expend on defense. So kudos to the T-Wolves. Shout out to the coaching staff. Like I said, I felt like Mike Malone did not have a counter to that. Mike Malone didn't have a counter to them picking up guys at half court. He didn't have a counter for how tightly they were playing defense. It just felt like their offensive game plan was not there. And then, another thing I thought they were doing a good job of was they were not allowing Jokic to create. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're playing a player like Jokic, LeBron, Luka, Trae Young, any of these guys that can really distribute, is sometimes they're like, well, they can score too. We're just going to focus on them stopping them scoring. Right. Yeah, and then you turn around and you look at the stats for Game 4. You got 2 other players that got 23 points. Mm-hmm. You got Anthony Edwards with 16, right? That's just on the other side of it. But things like that can happen. You try to stop a guy from scoring, and then next thing you know, all the players around him have 20. And I felt like they stopped Jokic from being able to distribute the way that he usually does. So, yeah, I mean. Well,
let me ask you, what was it that they were doing effectively that eliminated Jamal Murray in the second? Well, actually, not in the second half of the game, because Jamal Murray was very active in the first half and seemed like he kind of disappeared in the second.
What I noticed is what they were doing with Jamal Murray, not just for the second half of that game, but a lot of times during the series, was they were playing a lot of off-the-ball defense, which is something that is not common with the NBA today, because the way that the NBA plays defense today is everybody rotates. You're kind of on your guy, but you're not really. Your back is turned to them. You're looking to see where the ball is going to get swung to. Mm-hmm. You're looking to see if you need to crash down in the paint and all these things. The way they were playing them, they're like, nah, sir, follow this man to the ends of the earth. Wherever he goes, you go. It's almost like they treated him the way that the teams in the early 2000s used to have to treat Rip Hamilton, or the way that the teams in the late 90s had to treat Reggie Miller. I need you to be on his hip. I don't care if he has the ball or not. And that's kind of what they were doing with Jamal Murray. And then as soon as he touched the ball, Mark, smothering defense, make him uncomfortable. And I'll be honest with you, him not being able to put the ball on the floor with that tight of a defense is the reason why he was taken out of his game for most of the series, Mark. He just was not used to having that much pressure and that much. He wasn't used to having somebody in his space like that. Now, a guy like Kyrie will cook you if you do that, but you're dealing with somebody that his handles aren't as great as that. And I don't think his handles were good enough to kind of work his way out of that situation.
All right. I'm just going to read this comment off from Troy. Every miss in the third quarter took the air out of the building. They was up like 10, but it felt like they were tied. And that is very true. Denver, for a team that was up by 20 going into the half and coming into the third quarter, they played very tight in the third quarter, and it felt like they were down.
The third quarter is the reason why they lost the game to me, right. Mark. Or I'm not because you can say lost the game. The third quarter is the reason why I felt like they're going to have to work very hard to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
And it even comes down to them having a 4-point lead. Anthony Edwards knocks down a 3 at the buzzer to put them down 1 going into the fourth quarter.
Right.
Like, that 3 closed that gap from that 20-point lead down to 1. And I think there's still a different feeling if, they go in with a 4-point lead. Hey, we can still talking about like sucking the air out of the building. When Anthony Edwards knocked down that 3 at the end of the third quarter, it 1,000% felt to me like the T-Wolves had all of the momentum going their way. I felt like they had all of the confidence. It felt like it just boosted the confidence of the entire team that third quarter. And I felt like going into the fourth quarter, it was more of the T-Wolves feeling like we have this game, even though we've been down the whole game. And it felt more of like Denver was panicking. So, yeah, man, that third quarter destroyed them.
No, 100%. And now, here's the fun thing that I want to have a conversation about, though. Because the T-Wolves, they're doing it, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, what did he say? Was the basketball gods telling y'all Giannis is the best big in the league still? I mean, nobody. Just,
you're not going to get an argument out of me. I'm not going to argue that he's not. Like, I'll be honest with you. That's the matchup that I've been dying to see, Mark, is Giannis versus Jokic in the NBA Finals. Because, I mean, I would assume that Giannis would probably do a better defensive job on Jokic than most bigs.
Right.
Definitely better. Can't be any worse than Anthony Davis getting cooked by Jokic, and it can't be any worse than Gobert getting smoked. So,
but here's the thing, though, man. Like, we are seeing. But who wasn't getting cooked was Cat. Cat was not getting cooked.
Cat was playing bro, I haven't seen Cat play defense like that since he was at Kentucky.
Now here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it about this version of Cat? Because we know who Cat is. We've come to expect a certain person when it comes to Karl Anthony Towns. Now, the question I have for you, is it a maturity factor? Or is it Anthony Edwards? Is Anthony Edwards getting something out of Karl Anthony Towns that anybody else wasn't able to get out of him before?
Jimmy Butler specifically.
Now, when I say that, I'm going to say the reason why I say that is because, like you said, Jimmy Butler. Anthony Edwards and Jimmy Butler's game is very similar. Their attitudes towards the game of basketball is very similar. Their attitudes in holding their teammates accountable and holding themselves accountable on the basketball court is very similar. And their in-your-face approach to, hey, I'm talking directly to you. I'm not being passive aggressive about it. I'm not going to sugarcoat
away from it.
Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it when I say it. It's very similar. But yet, Karl Anthony Towns did not respond to Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, now here's...
Karl Anthony Towns is responding very well to Anthony Edwards.
Hey, to answer the question, though, real quick, and I see a comment here. I'm gonna bring this comment up. All right, he says, "I was about to say that next. Ant believes in them. It makes a difference." I don't even think that it's that specifically, but you're on to something. This is the thing. You can look at. I just saw a clip recently where Jeff Teague is talking about the first couple of weeks of Jimmy Butler being there with the T-Wolves, and Jimmy telling Teague like, "Yo, Karl Anthony Towns is different. This man can play ball. What we're going to do is, going into the season, is we're going to lean on him. We're going to let him cook." He said he can take care of everything offensively, and then everything else, me, Jimmy Butler, I will take. Me and you, Teague, we'll take care of everything else, meaning the hustle plays, the defense, the rebounding, the cleanup. Hey, you know what I'm saying? He said, "Look, I can chill. I can just we can let Cat take the wheel." That was Jimmy Butler's mindset going into that season. And then Jeff Teague said after 2 weeks, he just said he not what I thought he was. Okay, so it had. I don't think it's having him not believing in him. I think the problem is that Jimmy Butler saw the skill set and he could see the potential, and he was just extremely disappointed with Cat not, his approach to the game is not, yeah, I'm better than 95% of the people out here, I'm going to play like it. His approach, we even talked about it, Mark. They got Anthony Edwards on the team, and this man is talking about passing the torch like he's 40 years old.
Yeah, that was nuts to me.
He has a very passive approach to the game. Okay, and Jimmy Butler is wired one way. I believe he's wired the same way that Kobe is. It's one of the knocks that I have on Kobe is Kobe can work if everybody else around him has that hunger, the same way that he do. If you don't have that hunger, Kobe doesn't have another way of motivating you. He doesn't have another way of getting the most out of you as a teammate. Jimmy Butler does not have another way of getting the most out of you other than ostracizing you, getting on your ass, and nothing like that. The difference is, to me, with Anthony Edwards, his charisma, his likability, he actually fucks with these people outside of basketball. Like, he kicks it with them outside of basketball. He has that LeBron approach. Like, nah, man, we're going to kick it. And I do feel like even with that, he's way more genuine than LeBron is when it comes to that, right? So you got somebody that genuinely messes with you outside of basketball. Even though he's coming at you that way, I feel like at the end of the day, he's probably also heard compliments from Anthony Edwards. And that's the difference. I don't think it's just a belief. It's me giving you compliments when you're doing great, and then me chewing your ass when you're doing bad. I'm joking. I joke with you on and off the court. You are my boy for real. And then now, when it comes time to it, I can talk to you that way because you're not taking it personal. With Jimmy Butler, he not messing with you off the court either. Now it's like, you don't mess with me off the court, you don't mess with me on the court. I think you just have it out for me. It's a different thing, man. Smush Parker said Kobe wouldn't even talk to him in the locker room.
Yeah.
For 2 years. Okay? That's the type of approach that Jimmy Butler had. So it's different. It's totally different, man. So I feel like Anthony Edwards has a good balance of, I'm going to get on your ass, but then also has that side of him to where he's LeBron-like, where it's like, nah, man, we gonna get it together. We're gonna go hang out. We're gonna do all these things. I think Anthony Edwards is he is everything that you want in a prototypical leader, in my book. If you look at all the leaders in the past, throughout the NBA, not a lot of people could give you both of those sides of the coins.
Right.
That's just me. So that you can't. What he does from a leadership standpoint is unparalleled for somebody his age, specifically.
Nah, I feel you. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
100%, man. He may be the one. He may be the Neo.
Yeah. He to me, he is. Like, every other person that's had his athleticism, every other person that's had his work hard, work ethic, drive to win, they've all had that asshole mentality, like Kobe, like Jordan, like Jimmy. Like, Jimmy didn't have the athleticism, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, the people that work that hard usually don't have that other side of them to where they can be soft in moments where they need to be soft. And Anthony Edwards has that. So,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, Dr. Rose says Bean was an asshole. It's not a good quality. We just make it one.
Yeah. Thank you. And I'm glad that you said it that way, because it's only good if you have the right pieces around you. It has a very negative effect if you have a different not even bad pieces, just a different perspective, a different mindset of people around you. Like, if everybody's like you, then it works. And that's not a good, that you can't count that as a good quality.
Now, what I will say though, but some things that I found funny in Game 7 is just something that I noticed. Like it mostly was probably the fact that Cat messed his knee up on a play in like the first quarter or whatever. But there were several times where Ant was setting it up. Like he was setting it up in his head, and he's telling Cat, like he's not even saying nothing. He just wave his arm like yo, and then he go to do the move, and Cat is still sitting at the 3-point line, and it just stopped, and he looking like, dog, like what? And I was like, dog, if they lose this game, because I was like, every time he did it, I was like, dog, I was like, that's an easy 2 points right there.
Just go to the hoop.
Yeah, like if you had just went to the hoop, you would have had that, dog.
Hey, Troy is funny. He said I would have received a flagrant 5 on Jaden McDaniels at the end of the game. That's funny.
Yeah, like
hey, look. First off, shout out to Jaden McDaniels. That boy he been balling, man. He been balling a lot, and I like what he does on defense. But I see what you're talking about. But honestly, I think that's one thing that separates Ant in my mind from the rest of these young stars that have these teams. You know, you don't see either side of that coin from Jason Tatum, as far as lighting the fire, getting on people, or the hey, let's kumbaya, let's bring it all together. You don't see that. Like, a lot of these young stars are not leaders. I'm saying young stars. You can look at somebody like Steph. You can look at somebody like KD. A lot of these guys that are quote unquote leaders of the team are not leaders of the team, man. So it's just refreshing for me to see somebody that is actually the leader of the team being a great leader.
I'm going to show this here. Dr. Bell says they sore losers. Mike Malone got mad. They asked him about losing.
He did.
You know what's crazy? I thought that was a legitimate question.
It was a legit question.
I was like, what? I was like, why are you responding that way? Like that? I'm like, he's asking you a very legitimate question, and you're acting like he said something stupid. Like,
yeah, he's saying we understand that the loss stings, but it has to sting extra in a Game 7 where you had a 20-point lead. That's a legit thing. Like,
but no, he wasn't even. I didn't even take it as that. I took it like, hey, this happened. Take me into how this happened or why this happened. Like, what's going on? Like, what was
your mindset as the lead was dwindling?
Exactly.
Yeah, like no, I get it. I get it. It's just wild to me that it's like you can't. When somebody asks you how does it feel to win this game, right? You have all the answers in the world. When somebody asks you how does it feel to lose this game, now it's we lost. That's a dumb question. Let's get out of here. Like, no, man. You sit down in front of that podium. But Mike Malone and Mark, what I tell you about people that have that trait, I don't really like him. I liked Mike Malone and everything he did last year in the playoffs. All the trash talk, I loved it. But now he's making me not like him because he just lost that. He had that interview, and what did he do? He got up and left because he didn't want to deal with the loss, man. That was some HOE stuff, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I ain't like that. I ain't like that at all. That has knocked Mike Malone down a few pegs as far as the coaches that I like in the league. I'm not going to forget that, Mark, but yeah, man.
Where's your banana when you say that, though?
Say what?
Hey, if you're going to say I don't like that, you gotta be true.
I don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, for real though. Like this is my issue. Is when I look at that, right? Now it opens the door for somebody to say, look at Mike Malone's attitude. Maybe that bled into the locker room. Maybe that attitude is part of the reason why you had Jamal Murray pouting in Game 1 and Game 2. You
Oh,
remember
and
that?
throwing things onto the court.
Yeah, you got people throwing heating pads at people. Like maybe the coach is part of that reason why they have that attitude, Mark. But yeah, definitely didn't. Denver would be playing next game if they kept Bruce Brown. Facts. 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 I'm not even yet. Everybody knew that the Bruce Brown not getting signed thing was going to be an issue going into this year. So, yeah, and it showed its face to like the defense. The Denver's defense is completely different without Bruce Brown there.
Hey, man.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. But either way, we've been on this topic for a while.
Yeah, we have. So
I think we can move on. Okay,
yeah,
what we got here? You want? Oh yeah, we can jump right into this. Let's go straight into this. We got Stephen A. Stephen A. ducking post-game interview smoke with Kyrie Irving. Y'all should already know how we feel about Stephen A. at this point. So no need to get into that. Let's just get into the fact that we all know how Stephen A. has been talking about Kyrie, how he talked about him when he was with the Nets, how he talked about him with the whole Twitter, with the tweet situation. We know that he at some point while he was with the Nets, he said that man needs to just retire from basketball. He was saying a lot of outrageous things about Kyrie, which I felt like it was him. Man, I'm trying to say this in a clean way. He was doing a lot of caping and writing for the NBA on behalf of the NBA league office, and a lot of ass kissing going on that I felt with his attacks on Kyrie. You know, a lot of shucking and jiving for the man, if you will. And then what happens now is, fast forward, Kyrie's doing great. Matter of fact, these past 2 seasons, I don't think there's anything you can say about Kyrie. And when you look at it, man,
before you continue, I do please hold on to your thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to bring this up. Matthew Perry says, I think Disney forced Stephen A. to say the things he said. If that was true, I would believe you. You want to know why I would believe you? Because Stephen A. Smith wakes up every single day.
I was just going to say it.
He wakes up every single day and looks himself in the mirror and says, how can I make my boss more money? So
that's a Stephen A. Smith quote.
That is a direct quote from Stephen A. Smith. So I would believe it because Stephen A. Smith has already said as a quote, I will throw away my morals. I will throw away what I believe personally because it will make my boss more money. And he is going to actively seek out how to do that.
Yeah. And just real quick, Dub, Dr. Real, Dub, you said the government, honestly, not the NBA. He was pushing Dr. Fauci vaccine. I'm going to tell you right now that everything is a part of why it happened. Everything. But Stephen A. had to be the mouthpiece. Stephen A. had to be the mouthpiece specifically because he's black. Okay? You needed somebody from the black community to be the one to denounce Kyrie. And Stephen A. Smith he's there for that reason. So I 1,000%. Oh yeah, that sounds like he's selling out literally. It is, man. It is what it is. Like, well, I don't know. There was no way to sugarcoat it, right? So, but we all know that all of this. Yes, he a black company man. Yes. So with all that said, like I said, I find it very interesting that Stephen A. is there to interview, to be there for the courtside interviews. They go to the booth, they spend time. You know how it works. And then all of a sudden now the man is nowhere to be found when the Mavs close out the series, and you're going to have to talk to Luka and Kyrie.
Like you lost another one.
This is the first time I've seen Stephen A. Smith disappear in a scenario like that. This is the first time. This is insanity, man. Like, it's so obvious, and it's like, okay, one of two things happened here. Either Stephen A. Smith didn't want to face the music, because he knows that Kyrie is an outspoken person and Kyrie might start speaking his mind right there. He might challenge him. He might call him out. Or it could be number two, which is they're just like, nah, man, Stephen A., go home. We can't have you have that conversation on air. We don't even want the opportunity for that to happen because it's going to make us as a company look bad. We don't want to give Kyrie that platform.
Yeah, I don't
You know
like.
what I mean?
9 months.
Or it could be a mixture of both, Mark. But either way, I don't like it. It's such a concerted effort that's happening right in front of our faces as fans.
Well, you know,
say that we this is exactly what we're doing.
Well, you know, today they saw it. Like, I guess the voices have been out about like, yo, you did not interview this dude or whatever, blah blah blah. So today, Stephen A. Smith was either on his podcast or on one of his many ESPN endeavors. He was talking to KG, and man, it was a complete shift, a massive shift in the way that he was speaking on and Kyrie Irving. Like, it was insane. It was like in the comment section on YouTube, you can see everybody saying like, "Wow, doing a complete 180 when it comes to Kyrie, ain't you?" Like, oh, that, like, they was like, that backtracking is real. Like, you know what I mean? So the people are noticing, hey man, we see what you're doing. we can see it. And like, you're doing it right in front of our face. We not believing you. Like,
yeah, man. So but yeah, man, we had to bring that up, man, because it was noticeable. It's weird how they will be there on the front lines to tear you down, but then they will not be there on the front lines to big you up. Matter of fact, they're not going to be there at all.
Right.
So it does feel like there's like, a lot of people say, hey, the media don't mess with me, the media's against me, yada, yada, yada. This is clear as day that the media does not mess with Kyrie. I mean, it was already clear to us before, but they're standing on it. They're standing on it and saying, look, we're not messing with you, man. So this brings me to my final question about this whole Kyrie situation, Mark, which is, if the Mavs, let's say the Mavs go all the way to the finals and they win, right? Kyrie has already been a big part of their success in the playoffs. He basically got them out of that Clippers series. He got the Clippers out of there, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was even an post-game interview where Luka was saying, look, man, I feel like I'm letting Kyrie down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if they make it to the finals and they win, Kyrie is going to be a huge reason for that. Closing out games the way he's been and all that stuff. Do you think that Kyrie will get the recognition that he deserves, Mark, if they win the NBA Finals?
If he keeps playing like this, they're going to have to. There is absolutely zero choice if he keeps playing like this, bro.
Yeah.
That's just the long and short of it, bro. Like, yeah. you can't keep avoiding him at this point.
Yeah.
So especially when it comes to his teammate and the guy that you guys are bigging up, saying, hey, he's the man. He's actively in these post-game interviews saying, it's not me, it's him. Like, so at that point, you just got to be like, well, all right. So you got to recognize it. And I'm going to play that clip just in case anybody didn't see it. So, okay. All right, here we go. All right.
I feel like I'm letting him down, so I gotta be there. I gotta help him more. He's given everything that he has, and he's been amazing for us the whole series. Yeah, I just gotta help him more. I feel like I'm letting him down, so I gotta be there. I gotta help him more. He's given everything that he has, and he's been amazing for us the whole series. yeah, I just gotta help him more.
So
I feel
yeah,
like
there you have it, guys. You
Yeah,
see
yeah.
I
it,
gotta be there.
like
I
you know what I
gotta
mean.
help
You
him
see,
more.
so you
He's
see
giving everything that he has.
what's going on, and you see how he's praising Kyrie and what he's doing, and he's like, "Look, man, I feel like I need to do more in watching what he's doing for us."
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it is
Yeah.
what it is out there, and they're going to have to double back and give him the love that he deserves. In fact, I would love to see them give Kyrie the love the way that they're giving the Knicks the love. Because the way that the media is glazing these Knicks after a loss in Game 7 is crazy to me. You were up in the series,
3-2.
and then you lose the Game 7. Like, I need answers. I watched Get Up today, and they was like, this was an absolute success for the New York Knicks. Like, this was a great season. Jalen Brunson feels like it wasn't a success, but this was an absolute success for the New York Knicks. What they were able to accomplish with the injuries and blah 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 blah. Okay, stop it. Because you want to know who was also injured? Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid was playing with half a face. He had 0 knees and half a face, and somehow was dropping 30 on the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
And also in that series, the referees stole 2 games from the Sixers in the final minute. Stole them. Just flat out stole 2 games in the final minute from the Sixers.
Hey, Knicks they've been getting Matt Ref cooking the entire playoffs this year, both series. And then real quick, Mark, I was going to mention when we talk about injured players, this is 2 playoffs in a row where Giannis was hurt. This is 2 playoffs in a row where Embiid was hurt. Okay, people did not give Giannis a pass last year for the first round exit. They did not give the Sixers. They didn't give Embiid a pass for that. They got scrutinized, Mark. I'm not even going to say they didn't give him a pass. They got scrutinized, Mark. I don't like, and I get that the Knicks had a bunch of injuries. I don't think that I do not believe that the Bucks should have gotten as scrutinized as they did last year. I don't believe the Sixers should have gotten as scrutinized as they did last year. Granted, they should have gotten scrutinized for other minor things that happened in Game 6, Game 7, whatever. But all in all, they were overly scrutinized. This is crazy. I don't think that the Knicks should be scrutinized.
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you do that.
What?
The Sixers was an abject failure last year.
No.
Their 2 best stars failed to score more than 12 points.
No. Let me be very clear, Mark. What I'm saying is, when you talk about guys being hurt, I'm one of the few people that's of the mind that people say, well, if you're on the court, then you should do your numbers. No. What I'm saying
they didn't have Doc last year.
Yeah, so my thing is that if you're gonna say that this dude is hurt but he's on the court, he should still get his numbers.
Oh no, they did have Doc last year. You're right. I'm sorry.
Okay, but did you hear me though?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah. If they're on the court, they should do their numbers even if they're hurt. That's not my thought process. That should be taken into account when you're scrutinizing these people. Like I said, they should have been scrutinized. I just don't think that certain things should have been mentioned. Now, same thing with the Knicks. Let's be honest. They're a number 2 seed. They should be scrutinized. Do I think that the injuries, do I think they need to be scrutinized as heavily as if they were fully healthy? No. But at the same time, watching the media treat all the other injury situations completely differently than the way that they're treating this Knicks injury situation is crazy to me. Because every other time they have been on brand with basically not mentioning the injuries and saying, well, you're here. Right, Mark?
Yeah.
They didn't care about Tyler Herro being out last year for the Heat. They didn't give a crap about that. They didn't care about that. Like, they don't care about these injuries, and all of a sudden this year, the media is just like, oh man, you know what? All them injuries for the Knicks, man, valiant effort. It's just weird to me.
No,
that they're
what's
giving
weird
them
to
a
me,
place that
though,
they're not giving anybody else.
what's weird to me though is you are a 2 seed going up against a 6 seed.
You should be able to overcome that.
That's a failure. You still had Jalen Burke. You still had Brunson, right? You had major contributors. You had heavy contributors on the team still. In fact, the fact that you had all those injuries and you still had all those players that could contribute, like, you're a very deep roster, and somehow, and you lose to the Pacers. The Pacers, who was a 6 seed, a 2 seed losing to a 6 seed is a failure every single time. And like, you're not over there giving, like, you over there handing out participation trophies to the OKC as well. Talking about, like, look, that was a 6, like, because now you're talking about a 2 seed being a success, so you have to say that about OKC. And now you paint it, and now you put yourself in the corner, and you're talking about OKC. Like, look, they're a young team. They'll be back. They'll do it. They'll do this. They'll do that. Like, no. The fact of the matter is that they were a number 1 seed, and they lost in the second round.
Mark, you know who's a young team? The Pacers. What are we talking about here? Like, so yeah, this is my issue, man. I don't like the participation trophy mindset right now. But let's be honest, Mark. We know what this is. This is them kissing the Knicks' ass, and we know what it is because at every chance they get, this is what they do with the Knicks. Okay, but let's just talk about the on-brand stuff for the Knicks. Knicks up 3-2 in the series and they lose. Knicks just lose. This is what they do, man. Like, Knicks fans know this, right? What's on brand for that? You got Tyrese Halliburton wearing in the post-game presser the Reggie Miller choke hoodie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's on brand for the Knicks. You know what else is on brand for the Knicks? Look, people, teams, individuals, teams, they get up for the Garden, okay? It's a rite of passage for a young up-and-coming star to go off in the Garden, okay? This is just what they do.
I'm telling you, man. Look out for Halliburton. Look out for Halliburton in the future, man, because he had his MSG moment.
Yeah, and let's be honest, he struggled. He struggled in this series at times to where people was like, "Yo, his 15 minutes ran out." It was talking crazy about Halliburton in the early parts of this series. Guess what? Game 7 in the Garden, Mark. What do you think was going to happen?
Exactly. I'm going to shoot 70% from the field. I'm just saying, it's a rite of passage to light up the Garden. Okay, it is, man. So people are looking at this and saying, "Oh, things might be different. It's looking up." No, it's looking exactly the way it usually looks for the Knicks. Okay, this is exactly what they do. I don't know why anybody else thinks this is something totally different. This is something different, or this is going to lead to something different when it never has. Okay, you want to relive the Patrick Ewing days? Let's go back to them losing as a number 1 seed versus the 8 seed Miami Heat. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about how there was a fight going down, and the only person out of all the tough guy Knicks players, the only person that wanted smoke was Jeff Van Gundy. Okay, let's talk about that. You know, there's just so many things we could say about the Knicks and their history. But yes, all in all, the Knicks did what they do. The NBA is trying to spin this because the NBA wanted the Knicks to advance. Let's be honest. They wanted the Knicks to advance. They wanted to be able to talk about the Knicks again in the Eastern Conference Finals. They wanted to bring back those glory days. They wanted a lot of things for the Knicks. They want a lot of success for that, for the big market Knicks. It didn't happen, and now they're trying to spin it by saying they had a successful season. Right. I'm not buying any of it. Right. Hey, man, I got to bring this up because this speaks to how bad of a GM
that's crazy.
Daryl Morey is. This was a real trade that was out there. Ben Simmons for Halliburton, Buddy, and draft picks. But no, they wanted to chase the big name. Chase the big name that I tell everybody and been telling everybody he does not equal success. They chased James Harden. And just like every other team that chased James Harden, it ends in failure. So, hey, shout out to Chris Paul for being with James Harden for so long and for somehow working their way up to a Western Conference final and all that shit.
That was the best chance that James Harden had of winning the championship with Chris Paul. So people need to really give Chris Paul his flowers, bro. Like, I mean, I don't like him as a person. I don't really fuck with him with his dirty antics. And
no, he's a good. He might be a great guy, and he's a terrible person.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, I just wanted to bring this up because, Dub said, speaking on KG and Stephen A, that fool Kevin said Randle is a true number one option. Julius Randle is not a number one option, but these are the things that get said when you play for the Knicks.
No, these are the things that get said when you are trying to make an excuse for the Knicks. And so with Julius Randle being out, you're like, they're missing a number one option. No, they're not. It's Julius Randle, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
Look, man, thank you. I'm glad that you said it that way. Because guess what? When he was healthy and he was in the playoffs last year, that shit did not matter. Okay? It did. He did not show up. Okay? Let's not forget that he didn't show up last year when they got eliminated in the second round last year. Okay? Let's not forget. All right? So here we go, man. With that, this is sorry, I gotta speak on this real quick. So Philly wanted that Rockets Harden. You talking about the Rockets Harden that had 10 turnovers in a game 7? That Rockets Harden, the Rockets Harden that would give you 35 points a game and be an MVP, MVP runaway during the regular season, and then when the playoffs came, he was guaranteed to choke at some point. That Rockets Harden, like, I'm never gonna understand the love affair with James Harden. I'm not, But I already know Dub is gonna get on us about talking trash about his boy, but it is what it is. Yeah, I was just gonna bring it up too. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can talk about it.
All right, if they keeping this core together, Randle got to go. Ball stopper, jab stepper, fadeaway shooter. He will be better on another team. They play a lot better when everything's ran through Jalen Brunson. Whether Jalen Brunson is facilitating, whether he's taking over in, driving to the hoop, pulling jump shots. Like when Jalen Brunson has full control of the team, I feel like they play better. That's just me, and I would rather get a piece that fits better with Jalen Brunson than to keep Julius Randle. Julius Randle is what I like to call fool's gold. You'll look at his numbers, you'll look at his regular season stats, and you'll think he's doing something, and he really ain't.
I don't know why, but every time say Julius Randle, I think of Lance Stevenson. I don't know why.
They look alike. He's like a taller version.
I think that's what it is. I think it's because they look so much alike. But I think it's just I think of Lance Stevenson every single time, and every single time I think of Lance Stevenson, I think of him blowing in LeBron's ear.
Disgusting, bro. I'm never going to forgive him for that. Hey, LeBron shaking his head and rolling his eyes. Mark, there's a 0% chance that I would have that reaction, bro.
Yeah,
call it not letting him get in his head. I don't care what you call it. He would have been in my head, Mark.
That is pure, unadulterated, classic trolling. That is the best troll job since your wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Hey, look. Hey, see what that troll job gets you? It gets you a grown ass man waiting outside of your team bus. that's what trolling gets you.
Hey, like I said, that was the.
Hey, that's crazy. I like that, Dub. If Dante DiVincenzo is in your big three, you won't win.
Hey,
I like DiVincenzo. I do.
Relax on the Villanova boys, all right?
Hey, I like DiVincenzo though. I really like him, but you might have a point. Dub.
Yeah,
that might be a problem.
I mean, yeah, it might be.
Yeah, it might not be the recipe that you need to make it to NBA Finals. Yeah, so we got that. What's our next topic, Marcus? You know,
All right.
This Knicks talk is making me nauseous. Let's go on to something else.
All right, man. All right, just to let y'all know, like always, this is our last topic, but we have something that we have some extra time. So if you guys have something that you want us to address that happened in sports recently, or something maybe football related, or whatever, go ahead and type it out, and we'll address it. So yeah.
Hey, the DiVincenzo slander is getting crazy. Hold on, let me address this real quick, bro. This is too much, man. So he said, Dub said, I like him as my eighth man. Mike Hall says Dante's supposed to be JJ Redick on your team, not a number 3. Then Dub says he the 10th man on the championship roster. You're getting a little carried away, Dub. But I will say this: what he's supposed to be is he's supposed to be your JJ Barea coming off the bench. He's supposed to be your Alex Caruso with the Lakers. He's supposed to be the guy that off the bench can give you 15. He's supposed to be your he's supposed to be your, and this is an exaggeration, but he's supposed to be your Andre Iguodala, essentially. He's supposed to be the guy that would be a starter on a bad team, that absolutely can give you 20 points a game if you put him in a starting position. But his role is specifically to come off the bench and lead the second unit with 15 points. That's what DiVincenzo is supposed to be. All right? He's going to lead your second unit with 15 points. He's going to play defense. He's going to be that energizer off the bench. That's what DiVincenzo needs to be for your team if you have championship aspirations. 10th man on a championship team is wild, Dub. That's crazy. 10th man might not even be in a rotation during the finals. You say he's supposed to be on the bench when you make it run. That's crazy.
I need you to put a little bit more respect on him. But anyway, some guys that definitely earned your respect and will eventually earn everybody respect because they'll be a chip winner. Which young star is the NBA more invested in, I guess? Who do you guys like? I mean, I feel like this should be an answer that you all should know already. But I'm just going to say it out there. The guy that they're most invested in right now is Tatum. I'm just going to say it because Tatum is on one of their coveted franchises, one of their big markets. Tatum is a star on a big market team, and they could promote that, they could sell that, and that will make a lot of money. Edwards would be the guy, except for being on the Timberwolves, being in Minnesota, is killing him. It's killing him.
It is killing him. Absolutely killing him. If Ant played for the Bulls, it wouldn't even be a conversation, right? If he was playing for the Lakers, it wouldn't be a conversation. If he was playing for the Knicks, Mark, it wouldn't be a conversation. It's just he happens to be in Minnesota.
And that's not going to fly, man. That's not going to fly for them. Like they need, like, so when people are like wondering like who's the favorite going forward, the favorite going forward is Boston. I'm not saying Boston's going to do it. I'm not saying Boston's going to win, but I'm saying when you see a call that don't look quite right and it seems fairly obvious what the call really should have been, you'll know why. You'll know why when you see a guy go down and he clearly calls a timeout, but then they say jump.
yeah.
You'll know why.
Hey, they was cooking up in the fourth quarter, Mark. Them refs in that Denver Minnesota series, boy, they was cooking up in the fourth quarter, boy. They was doing all kind of nastiness in there, man. They was trying, boy. I was like, first off, it was like, man, they are in the penalty. They're already in the bonus, and there's 8 minutes left to this fourth quarter. Denver, anytime Denver fouls from this point on, Minnesota goes to the free throw line. And I thought to myself, how are the refs going to reverse this? How are they going to find a way to save them from themselves in this scenario? I didn't think that jump balls would be the way that they would get it done, but they were trying any and everything at this point in the game, Mark.
Yeah, like there was one instance in which Reggie Miller clearly stated it. He was like, I don't like this. He was like, that right there was a clear foul. They didn't call it, and now on the inbound, they was like, now on the inbound, then you call a foul for a ticky-tack moving screen, in Denver's favor. He's like, I don't like that.
Boy, I was watching it and I was like, they just out with it. Okay, they're not even trying to hide it no more. But so I had 4 categories, Mark. I had 4 categories for me to figure out how the NBA was going to be investing their referee time, with these 4 teams left. And number 1, big market, like we mentioned, young marketable superstar, which to me that rules out Halliburton. Halliburton is not there yet, right? So big market rules out. It rules out Anthony Edwards to me, and it also does kind of rule out Halliburton. So, and then I have no undesirables on a team is a big deal. You can't have somebody on your team that the league is railing against. Dallas. You can't have Kyrie on your team. Okay? It's very clear that they have an issue with them, and that's just, he's an undesirable that they don't want to have to deal with. Okay? And he speaks too freely, Mark. That's an issue for them. Then you have needs to get over the hump. And once you narrow it down to that, there's only one team / one player that fits that category, and that's Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum. They need to get over this hump. They've already built them up. The team itself has built themselves up to this point. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals in X amount of years. Basically, 4 of the last 5 years or some shit like that. But they've been there. Okay, they've been hanging around. They made it to NBA Finals and lost. This is their time. They are due. Okay, the Pacers. Hey, you had a good run for a young team. OKC, you had a good. You know what I'm saying? That's how they speak about these guys. Dallas, they want Dallas to win. They do like Luka. Let's be honest. But they don't want to deal with Kyrie. Anthony Edwards, unfortunately, T-Wolves, you weren't supposed to make it this far.
Right.
They didn't expect you to make it this far. Anthony Edwards, you can be the face of the league. Not in Minnesota. Not in Minnesota, not this year. Not going to happen. 1,000%, the NBA looks at the scenario and says the best thing for the brand would be a Boston Celtics championship, Jason Tatum becoming the face of the league. It's great that you have guys like Jokic that they support. It's great that you have guys like Luka that they support. It's great that you have a guy like Giannis. But they want an American player, Mark. They want an American player. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum is everything that the NBA would see as a marketing wet dream. Okay? Celtics championship, Jason Tatum, American player. Boom. That's it. So I expect us to see full out, no stops, no holds barred, referee shenanigans in any series that the Boston Celtics are going to be a part of. They might not need to, Mark, but guaranteed, let the game get too close and you're going to see some crazy stuff.
What was the jaw? Halliburton better relax. I hope he has security around him for like every day. What was the movie where Dan Aykroyd kidnapped Damon Wayans?
Oh, Celtic Pride, yeah. I remember that, yeah. That was funny. They said they're gonna snatch that boy up, make sure everything goes like it's supposed to.
Yeah, you better. Hey man, he better relax. He better hire Liam Neeson.
Yeah, hey, look, man, look. I like the Celtics roster the way it's constructed. I personally just like Drew Holiday. I've been a fan of him from the time that he entered the league. I like this situation for Drew Holiday. Not a Jaylen Brown fan. Those days have passed. Not a huge Jason Tatum fan. I don't have anything against him though. And then I really dislike the Celtics as an org. Yeah, I just don't like any Boston teams. Simple. So yeah, I don't want to see the Celtics win, man. I don't want to see that, but I just know it's coming. I just know it's going to happen. I'll be very shocked to see another team win the NBA Finals outside of the Boston Celtics.
I need Anthony Edwards in Minnesota to be the NBA version of Eli and the Giants.
That would be phenomenal.
That's what I need. I need them to be the great disruptors. That'll be great. But look, man, that seems to be all we got for you guys tonight. Yeah. And you guys didn't bring up anything that you wanted us to talk about, so it's cool that we end it here. One thing that I do want to
Troy brought up the fight.
Oh,
yeah, we saw the fight.
I didn't see that comment. My bad. But yeah, look, the fight. How about that, man? Tyson Fury getting knocked around the ring, looking like looking silly, man. How about it?
You know what I don't like?
What?
Hey, I don't like the fact that he pulled a Deontay Wilder.
I don't like that at all.
He said, hey man, that man's country is at war. They wanted. Shut your dumb ass up, man. You lost. Lost.
No, like here's the thing though. When he said that, I immediately thought to myself, I was like, he is doing drugs again.
Mark. Now whether it's drugs or alcohol, I just know he fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, he hasn't taken boxing seriously
since
the last year and a half. Well, excuse me, since the last time he beat Deontay Wilder, he has not taken boxing seriously at all. He deserved to lose. He needed to lose, Mark. And then, like you said, the post fight talking lets me know that man has fallen off the wagon. Okay, yeah. I don't feel like I don't know if people feel bad for him in that sense, and I don't feel any type of ways because when you was on top, you was talking crazy. You were talking crazy to everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to have sympathy for you, and then especially if you lose this way and then you don't do it with grace. Yeah. Like Conor McGregor will forever have my respect because of the way that
Conor McGregor didn't do it with grace, but he did say, "You beat my ass." He said, "I'm just going to kill you next time."
No. That's still with grace to me. That's me saying you were the better man today, and I will acknowledge that. I still think I'm better, but it's up to me to prove it next time.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to set out to do. That's still with grace, Mark. I'm not like you saying that man won because of the Ukraine war is wild. That's absolute utter ridiculousness, Mark, and I can't respect that. So, yeah, Tyson Fury, he has been showing his ass since the last Deontay Wilder fight, and he's showing himself to be a clown, Mark. And then this seems to be, he's gotten his just due. And if you're not going to take the sport seriously, then you should retire like you said you were going to do. I think he needs more drug money, Mark. I think he needs more drug money.
Tyson has 2 losses. He has 2. He has 2. Because the only way I can look at you saying that he has 3 is by saying, and both of you are saying Wilder won that first fight. No, he didn't. Wilder got outboxed that first fight. He did get those knockdowns, but he was being outboxed that first fight. That was just the factual thing that was happening. The knockdowns happened for sure. but like I felt as though the tie was. I felt as though
Yeah,
the tie was an acceptable answer. Like,
see,
and
they're getting
like,
into the count.
like,
when you get down on this
like,
stuff.
because I really, if you want to say, if you want to say in your head that like Wilder won that first fight, I'm not going to fight you too hard on that because the knockdowns did happen, but you shouldn't be fighting me too hard on the fact that it was a tie because the other stuff did happen as well. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, don't fight
They're
it.
arguing that the knockdown was a knockout and it should have been a knockout. They're saying the count was extra long, whatever you want to. Like, I didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't agree with very many draws, Mark. And this was one of the ones where I 1,000% agreed, because the way that Fury dominated the fight has to be acknowledged, and then with the knockdowns, the way that he was knocked down has to also be acknowledged. And I feel like they both balance each other out. So I felt like a draw was the right call.
Exactly.
And let's say, and let's be honest, man. You can say what you want. You can say he lost that first round. Look, that first fight. Wilder got his ass whooped the next two fights. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what you want.
I mean, yeah.
Like, you know.
But I do want to address this question from Troy because it was a good one. Are y'all fans of the refs not stopping fights? I think the refs should have stopped the fight in the 9th. In Haney fight, he should have been stopped in the 7th. Absolutely, the Haney fight was way out of control. That was insane. I didn't even understand that one. But this particular fight, I understood it. I understood why he didn't stop it. He didn't stop the fight because the fight wasn't supposed to go that way. The bets were not favored in that way. The fight was not supposed to happen the way it did. So as long as Tyson was still wobbling and standing, he wasn't going to stop the fight because somebody was going to be knocking on his door for costing them money.
It's boxing, let's be honest.
So him not stopping the fight made perfect sense to me because if he was the reason why Tyson lost because he called a stoppage, someone would be knocking on his door.
Knocking on his door. Somebody would have been knocking on his car door. I don't think he would have made it out the venue. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like, that's the way that works.
So that was a self-preservation moment. Like, hey Tyson, if you're gonna die on your feet, baby, you're gonna die on your feet. I'm not stopping it. Like, just know that. Like, you better fall. If you want me to start counting, you better fall because I'm not calling no stoppage.
Yeah,
it ain't happening.
Yeah, no, you got. Yeah, sometimes you gotta think. You gotta think about yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta
choose you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you won't, then who will? Not the dude that lost all that money on the bet. He won't.
Exactly.
Like, absolutely not, man. Like, look, man. The Haney fight. Yeah, the Haney fight was crazy.
So, but yeah, man, that's it, dog. That's all we got. We appreciate y'all. I did want to say though, real quick, Devontae Parker, he retired from the NFL in OTAs. So he will not be an Eagle this year because he retired in OTAs. So yeah, that's going to be interesting, bro. He said he cited that he wanted to spend more time with his children.
Yeah, you know what did him in? them years in New England, having Mac Jones throw to him, that did him in, dog. He was like, I don't even know what I'm doing here no more, bro. Hey, that Jones sucked the life right out of him, dog.
Yeah, man. And it looks like they're saying right now They got Russ penciled in as the starter for Pittsburgh, but they are at least saying that it's a real competition. And Justin Fields is saying, "Hey, man, Russ knows I'm here to compete. We've always been in contact, but he knows that I'm here to compete." And Russ is kind of echoing the same sentiments and stuff.
Russ is too much of a professional to lose this battle. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think Justin Fields had a chance to beat him out, but yeah.
Right. But yeah, man. So we'll see how things go moving forward with that situation as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's all we got for this evening. We appreciate you guys for watching, sticking around, and if you just joined us late, go ahead and rewind. Be kind and rewind. Watch it back. Share it with your friends. Do all that stuff, Make, like, subscribe. We appreciate you. And remember, as always, it's only entertainment. It's called sports entertainment for a reason. Do not invest too heavily. And whenever making your bets, think about, how does this make the NBA money?
Absolutely.
All right, appreciate you, King. All right, y'all. Later.